is the word of the Lord for today. John chapter 5. John chapter 5. And we're going to begin reading at verse 1. And today we're going to come from the New King James Version. John chapter 5. Hallelujah. John chapter 5. John chapter 5. John chapter 5 and verse 2. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after the stirring of the water was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition for a long time, Jesus said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I'm coming, another man steps down before me." That's right. Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. For just a few moments of teaching and preaching, today I want to proclaim over your life, the season has shifted. The season has shifted. I don't know what that may mean to you, but for 50 of you in this house that received that word today, I decree over your life that the season has shifted. Tell 3 people around you, the season has shifted. How many of you received that the way things were has shifted? The condition you've been in has shifted. The season has shifted. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Sometimes we don't understand why life drops us off in certain places. Have you ever been dropped off in a place you thought that you didn't deserve to be in? Have you ever been found in a place where everybody had an issue, but just a different kind? Have you ever been dropped off in a place where you just needed some help, but everybody around you could not help you because they needed some help themselves? Have you ever been dropped off in a season of your life to where couldn't nobody help you, and really you couldn't even help yourself? But yet at the same time, you have to understand that when you discover that you are in a place or a season where you have been dropped off at, that your only remedy is waiting for a divine moment. There are different pools in the Bible. The pool of Siloam, well, the Siloam means a scent pool. And it was a pool for sending, and the sent were gathered at that place. So basically, the pool of Siloam was a place to where if I'm about to go to another destination, I would be commanded to go to the pool of Siloam, wash myself, prepare myself, and go to the next destination. When you get there to the pool of Siloam and you drink from the pool of Siloam. You were going there because somebody sent you there, and you were going to another place. The Jordan River and the Nile River, those are two rivers in the Bible that we know of, and the Sea of Galilee is another body of water. But here we find that there's a special place, and the name of this pool is Bethesda. This is not an ordinary pool. This is not a pool that you go in your nice bikini this summer like you plan on going in Jesus' name. This is not a pool that is an ordinary type of pool, but it is a place of healing. This was not a normal pool, and this miracle that you discover in John chapter 5 takes place in urban Jerusalem, where 5 porches, and here the summarization of these 5 porches, the place is called Bethesda. The pool system in Jerusalem is a big deal because there are no natural bodies of water in Jerusalem. You don't see water until you get to Galilee. And we believe that these pools were man-made, and these particular pools, they had a tendency to turn red after the water had sat there for a long time due to the buildup of iron in the water. Yeah, the pool of Bethesda was not a pool that God generated or God created. Isn't it amazing how often we sit next to places that we created, waiting for God to step in it? I got to move forward. Don't push me too hard. They reserved this type of water in this pool, and sick people came to Bethesda. Some went and some were sent. Oftentimes in the Bible of biblical history, sick individuals whose family could not take care of them dropped them off at a place called Bethesda, an outdoor nursing home. Understand, at this outdoor nursing home, these individuals did not have luxury Obamacare. These individuals did not have insurance. These individuals did not have nurses, CNAs, or CPAs, and they didn't have RNs. All they had was the hope of a miracle. And have you ever been in a place of your life where life dropped you off and couldn't nobody help you, and there were no resources there for you, but the last thing you did not get rid of is the hope of a miracle? Do I have anybody here that says, Pastor Shaemun, I'm not at church because I got it all together. I'm not here today because everything is well in my house, but I made it to the house of the Lord by the hair on my chin this morning, because the one thing I do have is hope for a miracle. You got to understand that this lame man in John chapter 5 teaches us that even when you've gotten dropped off, don't you drop your hope. Don't you drop your expectation. Don't you drop the expectation that at any moment now God can turn things around for you. And I need you not to look at your neighbor. I need you to talk to yourself. Have you ever been dropped off in life, and sometimes in the morning time you got to go and look at the mirror for yourself and talk yourself into going to work, talk yourself in that you still look good, talking yourself in that you're going to hold on, talking to yourself that you're going to press and see what the end's going to be, talking to yourself, telling yourself, be not weary in well doing. I don't know about you, but I've been there before where I had to say, cry your last tear. It's time to fight. It's time to wait. It's time to stand and see the salvation of the Lord. Sometimes the best preacher for you, the best preacher in your life is you. Being like David, to encourage yourself in the Lord. Because if you wait on your friends to encourage you, they might send the text too late. If you wait on your family to support you and build you up, they might wait a day too late. But when you feel yourself about to slip out of position, when you feel yourself about to get out of order, when you feel yourself that you said, wait a minute, no, I can't live like this. I got to live a life of expectation. The last thing I'm going to do after I've been dropped off is give up like I'm going to stay here the rest of my days. I prophesy to about 50 of you in here today that today the Lord sent you here. You thought you was coming to a deacon ordination, but baby, you came here to get pulled off of the porch. Listen, this morning we have here at Bethesda, it's a pool, and there are 5 covered porches. There's nothing like I can remember growing up on any summer, spring afternoon. My grandmama would make some good old sweet tea. I ain't talking about this country time stuff y'all making with powder. I'm talking about boiling red diamond tea bags. And then putting some Domino sugar in there. Y'all ain't got nobody in here. So sweet to where you feel diabetes going down your throat. And then put some mint leaf in there. Stir it up. Might make me some. Stir it up. And then grandmama said, let's go sit out on the porch for a spell. And we would watch cars go up the hill, come down the hill. That was before Facebook came. That was before Twitter and Instagram came. And we based our lives off of how many people like what we say and like what we post. And our time was spent with loving and talking with one another, just watching cars go down the road. But can you imagine sitting on a porch covered in the heat and everybody around you dealing with the same thing? It's okay if I sat on the porch with my grandmother because she had wisdom. She had stories. She had things to talk about. Whether if she was mad at the ladies at church that they didn't wear stockings or not, or what's going on in the community. But there was a difference on the porch. But what happens when you have to sit, you've been dropped off on a porch full of dysfunction? Full of dysfunction. And there were 5. That's right. There was a porch for blind people. There was another porch for the paralytic. There was another porch for people who were lame. There was another porch for people that had dysfunctions. And here at this porch, they had been dropped off because couldn't nobody help them. And then some took themselves to the pool of Bethesda because that was the best hospital they knew. And the physician only came at a certain time every year. And no matter what condition you had to do your own physical therapy. That when you saw the stirring of the waters, if you got to roll off the porch and fall in the pool, if you got to crawl to the pool, if you got to wobble to the pool, I ain't talking about the dance. If you're blind, you had to go in the direction of what you heard. And if you were 1 second late, you go back to the same porch and wait till next year. Can you imagine, Cindy, Being at the pool of Bethesda, the doctor only came once a year. Stir the water. Here's the blessing part about that. 5 porches, 5 issues, 1 cure. 5 issues, 5 different dilemmas, 1 solution. The gospel is being painted through this text. Because the truth of the matter is, all of us is sitting on some kind of porch this morning. I know you walked in here. I know you drove here. I know you put on your face in the mirror this morning. I know you look good. I know you smell all right. I know you got future plans. But the truth of the matter is, you got to identify, where am I located around this pool? The gospel is being painted here in the text because although we got different issues, we're at church because there's only 1 cure. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, not sure what your issue is or which porch you're sitting on. There is only 1 cure. I want to prescribe you a prescription this morning. And the only way you can go in and fulfill your prescription, you got to go into a pharmacy called Glory. And when you step into the atmosphere of glory, go up to the cash register and give them your prescription. And the prescription is, he was wounded for my transgressions, bruised for my iniquity, and the chastisement of my peace was upon him, and by his stripes I want to cash in my prescription. And well, hon, can you come back in an hour? No, I want it right now. I want an immediate fulfilling of my prescription. Maybe you're not sick, but I want you to try this prescription out. Any man that calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. For God so loved the world, gave his only begotten son. Whoever, whatever porch you coming from, believe in him, shall not perish but have everlasting life. I believe we've all been dropped off at some porches before. Porches of doubt and porches of insufficiency, lost sense of purpose, sense of stagnation in our lives, where we are watching people with the same issue get well one by one and go back to the same porch and hope I make it the next go round. First thing I want you to write down, if you're writing any notes, wherever life has dropped you off at, it is divine. Yes, yes, yes. God loves you too much to drop you off in a place where he can't pull you out of. I'm going to say that for 20 more of you. Maybe life dropped you off on a grief porch. Or maybe life has dropped you off on a depression porch. But I've come to let you know the season has shifted. And I need you to tell yourself right now, the season has shifted. Some of you have already convinced yourself, I'll just 2019 because 2018 is already over. It's halfway over, and it's just going to be the way it is. It's just the way it is. I'm not going to get better. I'm not going to come through. I'm not going to have a breakthrough. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. The season has shifted, and because he died and rose again, I don't have to wait until an angel stirs the water. All I got to do is decide I'm getting off the porch, and I'm going to step in what's moving. God help me. God help me. Somebody shout, I'm about to step in what's moving. The drop-off was divine. Watch. When Jesus went to Jerusalem, he did not spend his time in elite hotels. Jesus did not spend his time on jets. Jesus didn't spend his time in fancy restaurants. Jesus did not spend his time with the people that thought, as Minister Pat says, that thought that they were muchy much, suchy much, whatever. Jesus did not just hang out with people that thought that they were the upper echelon of society. But Jesus concerned himself with people that had a need that everybody else ignored. Cindy, here's the revelation and a theological perspective I want you to ponder today. There have been people that had been healed at the pool before. That's right. That's true. But the text does not tell us that after they got healed, they hung out with their friends so that when the time came again, they made sure they get an opportunity to. The season has shifted of where people that was with you in the struggle forget about you and go on about their business as if they had never been where you've been right now. Let me come over here to this old Catholic church. Now, y'all Anglican church. Come over here to this holiness church. Let me tell you something. The season has shifted of people that forget about you after they arrive. You need some people in this season that after their season has come, baby, if I got to come back and drag you out myself, I'm going to pull you out, because if you with me, you got to reign with me. It's time for you to stop parading around and start pulling people out. How dare you be Holy Ghost filled, talking in tongues, shouting and flapping around the church, and can't pull nobody out. The power of your testimony is not that you made it off the porch. It's how strong you are to pull somebody out the same porch that you have been on for 38 years. You know what makes a ghetto? It's not assisted living. A ghetto is not a black community that's poor. A ghetto is a place where everybody is the same with the same dysfunction, and therefore we're mingling with one another, fondling with one another, and nobody gets out to pull somebody back out. There are white ghettos. There are black ghettos. There are Latino ghettos. But I'm not talking about race. Is the church a ghetto? Is the church a ghetto? Is the church a ghetto of where we're all delivered and we're all set free, but we're dysfunctional because we ain't pulling out no homemongers, we ain't pulling out no crackheads out of houses, we ain't pulling out, y'all quiet like a church mouse, we ain't pulling folk out of casinos, we ain't pulling folk off the pole, we're not pulling nobody out of misery, we're not pulling nobody out of low-income housing. What are we doing? You can have a functional church ghetto. Some of you are like, my church isn't ghetto. I hear you up in the heavens. Oh, it is a ghetto if everybody looks the same. If everybody is doing the same thing. If everybody is not pulling somebody up to the next level, but I hear music at the top of my head this morning, and the angels are singing, the season has shifted. The season has shifted. And I just need about 5 radical folk in here to jump up on your feet and serve hell a notice. The season has shifted. If you jumped up, God just shifted your season. He just turned some stuff for you. I dare you to shout, the season has shifted. Here is the divine part. They dropped him off, Crystal, at Bethesda. And Bethesda, watch, means in Hebrew, house of mercy. There's a difference between house of sympathy and a house of mercy. A house of sympathy gives an apology for your misery. But a house of mercy is a place of hope for change. Miracles are attracted to houses of mercy. See, you on the porch of depression, you on the porch of misery, you on the porch of so much debt, you're on the porch of making decisions and you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, you're just on the porch and you're like, Lord, and watch this. I believe, the text doesn't say this, but out of my sanctified imagination, I believe that there were some that just said, I ain't even finna try.
That's right. That's right.
I ain't even, when that water stirred, let it stir. Because I'm tired of trying. And every time I get close enough to feel the mist come off the water, somebody took my spot. Are you tired of people taking your spot?
Yes.
Can you imagine Christian for 38 years? He got 38 years of regret that he's wrestling with. What is regret? Regret is the remorse of a moment that I missed. Regret is the mourning place of moments that I mishandled. But whatever you are regretting this morning, I declare that you're at the pool of Bethesda this morning. And not only are you coming off the porch, but everybody on your row. Y'all acting Methodist. Let me talk to these over here. Everybody on your row. Everybody on your row. Everybody on your bloodline. I feel some fire right around on here. Everybody that share your blood. Everybody in your church family. God help me today. Everybody in your household. When it shifts for you, it shifts for. Somebody shout, the season has shifted. The season has shifted. What I'm glad about is that although he was there at the pool of Bethesda, he was in the house of mercy. And what that means is that you'll never land on a porch where God's mercy can't reach you. That's the why you're alive right now, is because when you were lost in your sin, you were still in mercy's reach. When you couldn't help yourself, you were still in mercy's reach. And what I'm glad about is, put it on the screen for me, take it home and cook it for dinner, is that Jesus always shows up where people have been dropped off. And I don't know where you've been dropped off at, but the Lord told me to tell you, you're not in a season, you're not in a place where Jesus can pick you up. Lift up your hands and shout, Lord, get me off the porch. Lord, get me off the porch. Jesus always shows up in places where people dropped you off at. I'm about to help 20 of you. That's why some folk don't like you. I'm just preaching to 20. The other 100 of you just keep your mouth closed like your old Kingdom Hall. Listen. That's why some folk don't like you. It's because they knew the porch you hung out on. They knew the porch you were familiar with. They knew the porch that you resided with. And now they think you're sedity because your moment has come. Now they think you're better than them because your moment has come. Well, sweetie, if they were on the porch with you and you were on the porch with them, if your moment came, they just missed their moment. So the reason they're mad with you is because they missed it. But for those of you that have missed it, you're still in the place of mercy. Is there anybody in here that says, where I am, mercy held my hand? Have you ever been on a porch in life and mercy was just pulling you along? Mercy kept your mind. Mercy kept you safe in places you ain't have no business being in. Mercy let danger pass over your house. Mercy kept you alive when you should have died. Mercy gave you another chance. Mercy. I guess boss said, don't drag me no more. You don't qualify to pull nobody when you don't have not experienced the pull of mercy itself. I gotta let you go home and eat your Cracker Barrel. But listen, people that have never been pulled by God's mercy will always mishandle you. When people have not experienced the pull of God's mercy, they will always abuse your kindness. And they do it through demonstrations of abuse. Verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse. When they don't know what it feels like to be pulled by mercy, they'll always mishandle you. I free you right now. I free you right now from every mishandler that is dragging you through life but not pulling you into destiny. I release from your access. They're losing access. They're losing influence from you because they cannot pull you. So when you make a mistake, you're the scum of the earth. When you slip up and fall, oh, you thought you were saved. Chris, if you make a mistake, look at your old deacon. Because when full of mercy, you'll always misuse people around you. That's why you're numb to people in need. Church, we're going to feed the homeless. I'm going to donate, but I ain't going down there with them old nasty folk. Your seed is cursed because of your attitude. I don't care if you gave $500 to the poor. If you think you're helping porch sitters with your prosperity and your attitude is vile, the seed is already cursed. Jesus always stops by places where people have been dropped off. I prophesy to about 5 pews in here and 3 folks sitting on them that the pickup is on the way. The pickup. The pickup. I ain't talking about Walmart pickup. The pickup. It's on the way. And when the pickup comes, you've waited for 38 years for the water to stir. And you've tried to get to the water first. And every time you got close, you missed your moment. Don't ever confuse the meaning of the place you're in. Mercy is still defending you. And as I close this morning, you watched, you waited, you've seen everybody else get better. Everybody else get delivered. Everybody else get set free. Everybody else get what they asking God for. And I get so close to where I can touch it. But I'm not first. So I disqualify. As a man named Jesus came by the house of mercy. And out of the 5 porches, he talked to one man. And he asked a question and said, do you want to get well? After 38 years, you still want it? After 10 years, do you still want it? After 2 months of waiting, do you still want it? Who am I talking to in here? After 3 years of fasting and praying and sowing seed, do you still want it? After going to church all your life, do you still want it? So, sir, every time I try to get down there, my cousins get there before me. Ms. Kathleen, watch this. Your biggest test before it's your time is how well you can manage people getting there before you that haven't been as faithful as you. What about them people that get promoted on your job that you know ain't saved? What about People that have mistreated you, and you still saying, God bless them. Don't you let your anger and misery and disappointment disable that your moment is coming. As I close for real this time, not lying. You know I close 5 times. It's the 5th one. Shirley, what he was waiting on wasn't even the way God wanted to do it for him.
That's right.
Janae, it was not water for him. It was a word. One statement. Get up, take up your mat, and walk. The way God's going to do it for you is not the way you've seen it done before. It won't be water this time for you. It's going to be a word. One word has shifted this season in your life. Look at your neighbor as we close. Holler at them like they got a hearing aid. And say, neighbor, it won't be water. It won't be the way you think it will be. When God does it for you this time, he's just going to say 2 words. Get up! 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 Hey! Everybody standing. The season has shifted. The season has shifted. Do you still want it? Sooner or later, it's gonna turn in your favor. It's turning around for me. The Lord will perfect that concerning. It's gonna turn in my favor. It's turning around for me. It won't always, I'm finna let you go home, be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning me. Sooner or later, it's gonna turn in my favor. Turning around, it's turning around for me. You may can sing, you may not can sing, but turn to somebody and just tell them, it won't always be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning me. Sooner or later, it's gonna turn. It's gonna turn in your favor. It's turning around. It's turning around for me. Encourage yourself. We finna go home. You finna get some Cracker Barrel Captain D's. It won't always be like this. Lord will perfect that. Lord will perfect that concerning me. Sooner or later, turn in my favor. Oh, he's turning around for me. anything would concern me, sooner or later it's gonna turn in my favor. Oh, it's turning around for me. I want to give you opportunity today to make a forward step. First, I call you to know Jesus.